how God wants to set us free. Amen. He wants to set each addict free. He wants to, whatever your situation, the good Lord wants to set us free. Appreciate that so much. Hear that this morning. I just want to say thank you for everyone who has been praying, visiting, cards, calling, so much. And really, I appreciate it. It's so good to be back in the pulpit among my church family this morning. Just a little update. I went Wednesday for my follow-up appointment and got my catheter out. Boy, I tell you what, that was probably harder on me than the surgery itself. I tell you, I kid you not. But anyhow, they would get some sleep after that. And the doctor's report was good. The two areas, the lymph nodes and another area there off the prostate, didn't show any signs of cancer. They really believe it was all contained inside the prostate. After for the next 2 years, I got to do blood work every 3 months. I think it is to make sure my PSA level does not show up. I should not have any PSA from now on. And then after the 3 years, and then I guess I go to an annual checkup on the blood work. So it looks good, and we give God all the praise and the glory this morning. You just don't know unless you've been there of what hearing that word means. And I don't know. Well, I'm here. And we thank God for that. And the message I want to share with you this morning, I was laying at home after my surgery. I got home. The surgery was on the 11th. I got home on the 12th. Late that evening on the 12th, I think it was. And then 2 days later, I get this devotional in my email from the devotional daily that I get on a daily basis. And this was a devotion that was taken from Lisa, and I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, Parkersburg, I guess. Anyhow, it was taken from her book. It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. Can I hear an amen? I mean, how many of us have faced that? How many of us have gone? And I'm telling you, it was a devotion that as soon as I read it, I say, I've got to turn this into a message. And that's what I've done this morning. I got on Facebook, and in fact, we have a church page on Facebook, and I think we need your email address, I think, to send out a notice where you can join on that to keep you up to date on certain things that goes on within the church itself. But anyhow, if you want to be a part of that, just see myself or PK, and we can get that to happen. But anyhow, I shared this on Facebook, and it's a devotion I want to share with you, but hopefully in a little different manner than the devotion itself. The scripture focus that I want to look at this morning comes from Job, the book of Job. Talk about when things are upside down. I mean, who better to look at in the Bible than Job? Amen. I mean, his world was turned upside down. But anyhow, Job chapter 2 and beginning with verse 7, we'll read through verse 10. And once you have found that this morning, would you stand with me as we read together from God's Word? Job chapter 2, verses 7 through 10. And so Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with painful boils from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he took for himself potsherd with which to scrape himself while he sat in the midst of ashes. And then his wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." In verse 10, but he said to her, and I love this, "You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God? And shall we not accept adversity?" In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. Father, we pray that you add your blessing to your word. We stand on it this morning, Lord. It's a never-changing word that is true for us as it is today, as it was the day that it was written about Job, and it'll be the same way tomorrow, Lord. We know your word never changes. We need to change to match what your word says, Lord. We can't expect to change your word to match our lives. So help us this morning to gain the truth. Help us this morning to be open and receptive to the Holy Spirit that we've already welcomed here in our presence this morning. And we pray, Father, that He would open our hearts and our minds this morning, that we might respond in whatever manner that He directs us. We thank you and we praise you in Christ's name. And everyone said, amen. Amen. You may be seated. You read the story of Job, and to be quite honest, some have probably read it so often and heard it preached from so much that it just turns out to be just another story. I think of Easter coming up, and we hear the story of Jesus time and time and time again, and we hear about his the beating and the thorns of the crown of thorns that was put on his head, and all the things that he went through, and I think we become sensitized to that we're not affected by it like we should. We really never understand, however, what Jesus went through, and we really don't understand because it's just another story to us at times. We really never understand and appreciate what Job truly went through. And you know, our stories are the same today. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people have their stories, okay? We have our difficulties. We have our times and trials and things. But to some people, they are just stories. I mean, they pray for us. They understand we're going through a grief period. They understand that we're going through pain and a difficult time in our lives. But unless they too have experienced what we're going through, many times and often it is just another story. Another story. They really don't understand what is really going on in our thoughts and our emotions. Emotions are real. Emotions affect everyone. We all have emotions. I appreciate the conversations I've had with a few people over these last few months. And I was on the phone with Ken yesterday, I think it was, and we talked a little bit about this. About even though as Christians, when things like this hit, our emotions need to be in check. We need to get a hold of them and not let them run wild on us. But it's not something that is just you can stop. And I say this because of my story that came to a head recently. You see, I'm going to just share with you, and you may have heard it before, but I'm going to share again. December 11th, I was at the hospital. I had been admitted to the emergency room the night before, and the 11th of December is a day I'll never forget. And when I tell you I'll never forget something, you know that's a miracle in and of itself, because I easily forget things, and yet this is one date I will never forget. You see, the 5th of December, I had my biopsy of prostate, And just a few days later, on the 10th of December, I had a fever, and it was spiked up to 103, and I ended up in the emergency room, and they admitted me that night to the hospital, and the next morning my urologist comes in, and he talks to me about what's going on, and I explained to him, and he said, well, I guess you fall into that 10%, because only 10% of the people that have this biopsy end up with an infection, and I was in that 10%. Lucky me, amen. And so I'm sitting there, and we're talking, and then all of a sudden he interrupts me, and he says, well, we did get your report back from the pathologist. And it came back, and of course the pathologist's report was, of course, that I did have the prostate cancer. And I really didn't hear much of anything else he said after I heard that word cancer. Now, I had been trying to prepare myself. But you still, once you hear that word, it's something different in your life. That word, I really didn't hear much after. And there's really no easy way to attach the word cancer to your world and not have those around you, when they hear about it, cry. My daughter went hysterical. It's something that it penetrates, and people hear it, and they understand the serious. And to be honest this morning, one of the thoughts that keeps coming to my mind is, and really it's the title of my sermon, but I thought you said God won't give you more than you can handle. How many times have you heard that said? How many times have you heard God won't give you more than you can handle? I mean, everyone at one time or another has had that thrown at them, and I probably have tossed it around a few times myself during my ministry. God won't give you more than you can handle. However, that's not actually in the Bible. That's not actually in the Bible. What is in the Bible is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. And it says, and I want you to hear this, that no temptation has overtaken you except such as common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation will also make a way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. I want you to hear that this morning. It's temptations. It's temptation. There's not a temptation that you face or that I face that's not common. Your temptation, as wild and as threatening as whatever it might be, you're not special. Other people have had those temptations. You hear what I'm saying this morning? There's not a temptation, and I don't know why that didn't go. There's not a temptation around, my friend, that's not common. But I want you to know what it says after that. God is faithful. That with the temptation, not somewhere in the middle of the temptation, not after the temptation comes, but along with the temptation, He gives us a way out. You hear that? You hear what I'm saying? We don't have to give in to the temptations. And so there's no temptation that is going to overcome you if you take God's way out for you. It's there. It's there, and all we have to do is to stay true to God and stay true to His Word. And believe me, the devil himself is like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And that's what he's doing in this story with Job. But what this scripture is saying is not the same. It's not the same as God not giving us more than we can handle. He sometimes will allow more and more and more. I know there's some of you here today that have told me here just recently that The old enemy has been just bombarding you. One thing after another, after another, after another, of trying to destroy you. We're not alone. I know a young man right now in the ministry, and he's wanting to do God's will, and he's doing everything to follow God's will, and I mean, he has been bombarded with attacks from Satan. And he does it through health issues. He does it through family. He does it through every little sneaky place he can get his head into. He tries to destroy us. He's at work. But God allows, sometimes will allow more and more situations to come into our lives. Chapter 1 of Job, we hear how Satan had been to and fro on the earth. And the great thing about that is that to and fro tells me that there are places that he can't go, that because he says what God asked Job, well, have you considered my servant Job? And Satan says, you've got a hedge of protection around him. I can't get to him. So that tells me that even though Satan goes to and fro, God is still the one that has to give the final approval for him to lay his hands on us. Anyway, Satan ends up being given permission to access Job and anything that Job has, but he cannot lay a hand on Job himself. Have you not made, verse 10 of chapter 1, have you not made a hedge around him? We talked about the hedge protection here a while back in a sermon. But he has put a hedge around everything, his household, around all that he has, and on every side. Have you blessed the work of his hand, and his possession have increased in the land? But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is his. In your power, and only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the Lord, to the presence of the Lord. See, God had a hedge of protection around Job's possessions, his family, everything that involved Job. And God lifted that, allowed Satan to have access to everything that Job had in his possession, except he couldn't lay a hand on Job himself. However, in chapter 2, there's another encounter with Satan and God. Satan comes back to him and he says the same thing. He's been to and fro on the earth, and God gives him permission this time to strike Job as long as he does not take his life. And we know that he ends up with the boils from head to toe. Let me tell you something, church, this morning. Job was given more than he could handle. Job was given more than he could handle. As you know, many have been blindsided, like Job. However, I also know that I'm not the only one who feels they've been given more than they can handle. I say that because I have seen the wide-eyed expressions on some of your faces when you talked about some of the things that you have gone through. Some of the things you have dealt with, the grief, the hurt, heartbreak upon heartbreak, hurt upon hurt, grief upon grief, addiction upon addiction, diagnosis upon diagnosis, disappointment upon disappointment, time and time and time again. And one of the biggest things that that brings heartbreak and disappointment in our lives is expectations. You know, when and we should set goals. We should want to do things in our life that we want to achieve. Amen. But when we don't meet those expectations, when we fall short of those expectations, it brings disappointment. It brings disappointment, it brings hurt, it brings all these things into our life and grief into our lives because we didn't achieve what we set out to do. And the world is filled with people who are dealt more than they can handle. Like Job, surprisingly, the Bible is also filled with other people in there who have given more, that were given more than they could handle. The Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 8 and 9, he says, "We do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles we experience in the province of Asia. We were under what? Great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure." Sounds like Paul was in some pretty deep stuff, some serious situations, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. He didn't think he was going to get through it. He didn't think he was going to see the other side of the sunset. It goes on to say, "Indeed, we felt had received the sentence of death, but this happened." Listen, this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God. Hello? This happens that we might not I'm given more than I can handle. You're given more than you can handle this morning. Why? So you don't rely on yourself, but you give it totally to God. Woo! Praise the Lord. I'm telling you, folks, we got to come to that place in our lives where we just release everything that it's got to be like this, not like this. You got to do it like this. We've got to come to that place in our lives. And why? Because He is the one who raises the dead. God doesn't expect us to handle these things. He wants us to hand them over to Him. Why? Why? Because God is in control. He's able to do exceedingly abundantly more than we can think or imagine or even ask for. He is in control. There's nothing that is taking Him by surprise. There's nothing too big for our God. My friend, once again, you are not discouraged unless the situation you face seems bigger than the God you serve. How big is your God? He is in control of our situations. He is in control of our lives, and we need to turn our lives over totally, completely to Him. He does not want us to rally more and more of our own strength. He wants us to rely solely on His strength, because it's in His strength that it is made perfect in my life. If we keep walking around thinking that God won't give us more than we can handle, then we set ourselves up to be, suspicious of God. If He hasn't done it to you in your life yet, hold on, because it'll happen. You're going to come to a place in your walk with the Lord where it's just going to seem like, I can't take any more, Lord. And that's where He wants you. He wants you at that point, that breaking point. That's when the chains are released. When we give it up, that chain of bondage is released, that I'm no longer of myself, but God is in control. We are bombarded by burdens. We face things that are too much for us. We are weighed down with wondering, and we all are trying to make sense of things that don't make sense. And before we can move forward in a healthy way, we must first acknowledge the truth about our insufficiency. Cancer, my friend, is more than I can handle on my own. I need God to show me His perspective so I could set my perspective to what His perspective is. And when it doesn't come right away, I can become frustrated, irritated, and my emotions can start going wild on me. Ask Chrissy. She'll tell you how I really got at moments during this period of time. Fear and questions can settle in. Questions like, why this and why now and why me? You know, the real question is, why not me? What makes me so special that God would put that hedge of protection around me and never allow me to be attacked by Satan over somebody else? I'm not special. As if I could feel my emotions starting to unravel and my determination to trust God slipping away. At times it became too much. I didn't want to keep trying so hard to trust God. I just wanted to trust Him. I was tired of trying to make sense of this. It's not supposed to be this way. It's like you just want to run away, but the truth is cancer would follow you wherever you go, Toby. The hurt would follow you wherever you go. And even with wrestling, whether or not I could trust God would certainly follow me around. I call it stinking thinking. I knew that my thinking had to change. So I had to face the reality that I had been diagnosed with the cancer. I had to walk through the things in my mind, the reality of what was going on, and maybe if I changed my way of thinking, I could trust God in the midst of them. Thinking about everything I didn't know wasn't getting me anywhere. So, what are the truths that I did know? What are the truths that I could bring up and put in my mind? And you know the main truth, and you hear me say it time and time and time again, the main truth that I have learned early in my Christian walk is that God is good all the time. God is good in the midst of this thing going on in my life, and it's all the time He's good. No matter what I was facing, no matter what I was dealing with, this is a truth that I've learned early in my walk with Jesus. That God is good. He doesn't want any bad thing to happen to you and me. It's not His will that these things happen in our lives. It's because of what happened in the Garden of Eden. It's because of the fallen and broken world that we live in, that people have cancer, that death comes. It has nothing to do with what God has done to us. It's what our free will has done toward God. And I don't know the details of God's plan, His good and perfect plan. I don't know the details of that. But making His goodness the starting place renewed my perspective of how I've seen my situation. Realizing that God is good and knowing that my situation, He was going to do something good with it. So now let me tell you the story of all the recent events using God's goodness as a central theme. Family Camp 2014, July of 2014. Yeah, 2014 is when this journey began. Let me show you, and let me tell you how good God is. He started back way then on the situation I faced this past month. God was preparing me for the results way back then. I was playing kickball at family camp with my grandkids. Natalie, my little 12-year-old granddaughter, was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and Nathaniel, 2 years younger, a year or two younger than her. And we was out on the ball field playing kickball, and I kicked that ball like that, you know, my good leg. I didn't know I had a bad leg at that time. Everything was going good. And I didn't run to first base. I just started going towards first base at a fast pace. And about halfway up through there, it felt like somebody was using me as a kickball. I got this pain in my inner thigh that was just unbelievable, and burning and pain and so forth and so on. And I was diagnosed with an adductive muscle strain. A couple months later, I finally went to the doctor, and it was an abductive muscle strain, and they began aqua therapy and several treatments of that, and it still did little to help what I was dealing with. And while being seen for this problem, I finally was told that I was going to need hip replacement. It took several months to get to that point where they finally said, wait a minute, you are starting to lose some gap in between your bone here on your hip, and it's starting to close off. And it began the process. And then fall of 2016, that pain became severe in my right Achilles. Now, this is the same time all this other stuff was going on with my hip, and I had bone spurs for all my life since basic training, and this pain would come every now and then. Well, I went to the doctor for that, and after being put on crutches in October of 2016, I was going through the kitchen, and I stumbled on a rug, and I went forward, and I had never felt such severe pain in my life, and I ended up having a torn Achilles heel. This delayed the surgery for my hip for a year and almost a half. Dr. March, who done my hip surgery, came to talk to Christina and me afterwards, and he told us that everything went well, but the most difficult part of the surgery was getting a catheter in me, and that I better follow up with my primary care doctor to see about that when I could. Okay, well, I think I should too. So I follow up with my primary care doctor within that month, and he done a PSA and he done an exam on me, and the prostate was enlarged, but it felt okay, and got the results back from the PSA blood work, and I was just barely over the normal. I think 2 to 3 is normal range for PSA. Mine was up in the 4 point something, I think is what it was. And so he said, it could have been because of the, being the catheter in you and stirring up things, and so he says, well, let's repeat the blood work, and so we repeated it in like 6 weeks, and I got the results back from it, and it was up just a little, 2/10 higher, I think it was. And he said, well, what do you want to do? He said, we can continue to do this every 6 months or whatever. I said, well, let's go ahead and get me scheduled to see a urologist. So I go to see the urologist, and he doesn't do an exam on me. He just looked at my PSA level. He said, well, let's do another PSA on you. And so I done more blood work and came back to see him. And he says, well, you know what? It's dropped a little bit. And I don't think we have anything to worry about here. But it's whatever you want to do. He says, here's your options, blah, 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 blah. Okay, one of the option I chose was to have a biopsy. Hey, you never know, right? You never know. And of course, he says, now the side effects of the biopsies, 10% of the people end up with infections. I was at 10%. He got the result back on December 11th. I was diagnosed with the cancer. My story of me saying that God was watching over me and that God is good all the time is the fact that if my Achilles heel a year and a half earlier, in which that doctor never said anything about having a hard time getting a catheter in me, if I hadn't had that done a year and a half earlier, I may have had my surgery done, because that doctor never mentioned about the catheter being hard to get in me. If I would have had my hip surgery done around that time, I'd be standing here this morning not knowing I had prostate cancer. I had no other symptoms other than, men, you know what it like as you get older, you know. Got to go more frequently. It's normal. It was all normal stuff. The doctors weren't concerned. I wouldn't have been concerned. I'm getting old. But you see, God's hand is in it. My Achilles heel tore, putting off the surgery for 1.5 years. But when he done the surgery, now imagine a doctor coming to you and saying the only thing of a hip surgery that I had problems with is getting a catheter in you. My friend, God was in that. And you know what? We're all living a story. We all have a story. But then there's the story we tell ourselves. We just need to make sure what we're telling ourselves is the right story. And the right story is, yes, God will give us more than we can handle. But He has always, and will always, eventually have good in mind. We might not make it through what we're dealing with the way we think we should. God could have took my life. And I could still say that God is good. Why? Because I know that He would have used that to touch somebody else's life. I've got family members that need the Lord. I've got friends that need the Lord. And for a wake-up call, that's sometimes help. My friend, I'm sick and tired of people dying. But I thank God when they call me and ask to do the funeral for that person. Why? Because I'm going to give them the answer. I'm going to tell them the hope that is found in Jesus Christ. And I hope and I pray that that message penetrates their hearts. We see more and more unnecessary heartbreak in our lives, but God sees the exact pieces and parts that must be added right now to protect us, to provide for us, and to prepare us with more and more of His strength working through us. We don't have to like it, but maybe knowing this can help us live through it. Isaiah 45:9. Woe to those who quarrel with their maker, those who are nothing but potsherds among the potsherds on the ground. Does the clay say to the potter, what are you making? Does your work say the potter has no hands? Now, potsherd, my friend, is a broken piece of pottery. Interesting enough, a potsherd was also mentioned in our story of Job when he was afflicted with the awful disease that he faced with the boils. In Job chapter 2, verses 7 through 10, it says, so Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. This is his second visit in the presence of the Lord, and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the head, to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of pottery, which is a potsherd. In some of the versions it's mentioned potsherd. This is the NIV. And what did he do with that piece of pottery? He scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. And his wife comes out to him and says, are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die. And he replied, you are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? Hello? Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? And in all of this, Job did not sin in what he said. A broken piece of pottery, potsherd, a broken potsherd can lie on the ground and be nothing more than a constant reminder of brokenness. Something broke and there's that piece of pottery laying in the ground. It can be used to continue to scrape us and hurt us even when kept in our own hands. Or when it is placed in the master's hands, the master potter can be entrusted to take that pot shed, shatter it just right, and then use it in the remolding of you or me, to make you or me stronger. And when we grasp that, when we understand that, then we are able to see that in all of our circumstances, God is keeping us, or that God is, in all of our circumstances, God is keeping us and molding us and making us moldable while adding even more and more strength in the process. I didn't want to have cancer. There's no part of my human brain that thinks cancer is fair for any precious person who receives that diagnosis. God didn't cause this potshed reality in my life. It's the result of living in this broken world between two gardens. Nonetheless, I don't want this broken reality to just be a potshed wasted on the ground, or something I keep in my hand that hurts me. I must take even this and entrust it to the Lord. Take this, Lord, shatter it just right, so I can be made stronger and able to withstand fires as never before. I believe that you see things I cannot see, Lord. And you have eventually good in mind. And when we hit the place in our lives where we finally realize some things are truly more than we can handle, we will throw our hands up in surrender. And that surrender can happen in two ways. You hear what I'm saying? You're going to surrender one way or the other. What way are we going to surrender? It can happen one of two ways. We might surrender to the enemy, giving up to those feelings that this isn't fair, and that God isn't here, and that God isn't good. Well, we can surrender to God. This kind of surrender isn't giving in, it's giving up. Giving up carrying the weight that is all too much for us to carry on our own. We cannot carry it, but also knowing that God can use it for our good. When we know the truth about the amazing things that God can do with the dust and the broken potsheds of our life, we won't surrender to the negative lies of the enemy. Instead, we'll lift our hands to the potter. My friend, I know I'm not in the boat alone this morning. Like I said earlier in this message, I've seen some of your faces when talking about some of the things that you have dealt with. We've got a choice this morning, one of two things. Those emotions are real. Those feelings are real. The grief, the anger. I believe with all my heart, as somebody who has lost somebody, goes through stages of grief and pain and anger and all this other stuff. I believe those of us who are Connie, your dad, I know he went through some emotions that you probably hadn't seen him go through and had to deal with. Some of you, Loretta and Randy, some of the emotion people just don't understand. And it doesn't just end in a day or a week or a month. It stays with us. And although I'm cancer free, there's always that thought now that one of those blood works is going to come up with some PSA in it. I don't want that. Okay? But it's going to be there, and that's going to strike me one day. And those emotions are going to come up. And I've got a choice. Am I going to surrender those emotions to the enemy and say, yeah, you got me, enemy? Or am I going to say, Here, Lord, I need you to handle this for me. Paul says, think on these things, whatever's good, pure, lovely, good report, such and such and such and such. Think on these things. We've got to feed our minds with positive stuff, church. Amen. I love you. I know some of you have dealt with some terrible things, but God is good. All the time, Randy. All the time. Stand with us. Do you believe God is in control? I want to just close this morning by opening up the altar, saying whatever. If you feel like you need to just step out and pray this morning, would you be obedient? I'm not going to tarry, but I want you to know, if you need some time with God this morning, there's no better time than right now. Father, we love you this morning. Lord, as we wait upon responses from the congregation this morning, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for all the things, Father, that you encourage us with in the midst of storms. Thank you for people who send cards and phone calls and and visits and whatever it might be, Lord, in those times, and that bring encouragement and strength through their love. We thank you, Father, that you are a God who never quits on us, that you walk with us. Lord, we know that Job was given more than he could handle, but he turned it over to you. Lord, we need to do the same this morning. The old enemy is out to destroy those who will give in to him. So put your protection around us this morning to protect our hearts and our minds from the negative thoughts and the things that can come into our lives when we go through difficult things. We love you, Lord. We just want to praise you for your goodness. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. We'll just ask that as you leave this morning to leave quietly as one has come to the altar this morning to pray. God bless you. Board, if we could just meet real quick. Won't be but maybe 5 minutes, I hope.